Okay, I'm not sure. This is part 2 of this video I just did. I talked a lot, welcome to this video, part 2. I did a lot of just speaking about some of the experiences that many people are going through. I think I'm just going to do a little flow right now and some sound healing. So this is meant to be felt, not necessarily understood on a linear basis. Okay, now I'm just going to go into flow. There is a reticular arboretum, play on words, that is coming through the scale, if you will. I'm hearing, burning down the house. This particular flow and frequency bite, this particular sound bite, if you will, this particular bite that everybody is feeling that is creating this essentially chill, I'm hearing like hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. And we are flowing into these new polar dynamics, if you will. This new exchange of information, this new influx that is allowing us to open, that is allowing us to hear behind the scenes, play on words. We hear behind the curtain backdrop, if you will. That which is behind us, that which we have dropped into, is now dropping away. The curtain is being dropped. The magic show is being revealed. And at the same time, the magic within is being revealed, is being recognized, is being and as we allow ourselves to reveal our own inner fruits of our labors, so to speak, our own inner wisdom, our own inner phonetics, play on words, phonology, we allow ourselves to break on through to the other side. We allow ourselves to see as the curtain falls, as all of the players begin to reveal themselves, as those that are no longer players start to fade away, if you will, fade from our point of view. We let go of the need to point at that view. We turn the finger back on our own view. We change, if you will, direction. We change course, and we change the entire discourse. We move out of discord and unharmonious exchange into a higher ability to interact with one another. So this is kind of a play because the last video I was talking about our words. Many of us aren't used to speaking about certain subjects. And what I'm seeing is we're essentially ramping up our ability to communicate with not only each other, but our higher source, if you will. And so we drop in. I'm hearing we can hear a pin drop. I'm hearing we drop a pin, like on a map system. We map in, mapping. We mapping off one another. We map into the new system. We pull the pin out. So what I'm being shown is a balloon, and this was what the old reality was. And there was a pin that we were stuck in, right? And that was our anchor system. And I'm seeing us pull the pin out, and then what happens is there's a hole there, and it can't hold it anymore, and it just goes it just goes away and essentially deflates the system. Ooh, is a play on words. So as we deflate the system, we see that which was puffed up, if you will, that which was projected into I'm hearing a puffer fish. And I think this has to do, when I see puffer fish, I'm seeing the Vesica Pisces as well. We've gone from bi to tri, 2 to 3, 2 strands to 3 strands, double to triple bubbles. And I'm just seeing that puffer fish. What does the puffer fish do? It does it as a defense. It does it out of fear. So this fear-based dichotomy is what I'm hearing. Diphosphorus dichotomy. I'll have to play with this a little bit. It's easier to write out sometimes. Has now been removed, deflated, if you will, is being deflated from our reality. And for all holding purposes, we are being invited to let go of what it is that we are holding on to. Plan words. Meaning, we were holding on to this reality, we were holding on to these expectations of how this reality would burst or how our reality would unfold, and we're being invited to essentially not have to hang on to that anymore. We don't have to hang on to what we think should happen. For your skin suit technology is receiving a massive upgrade. And when we are in resistance, we do not understand or receive the upgrades in the same way. We have to slowly recognize that they are unfolding in our system, so to speak. Yet, this is also old, and this is also not real. For the new way of it is instant. Earlier, I was hearing instant recall. Many of us are phasing into the next phase, so to speak, are recalling in an instant whatever it is that needs to be brought up to be released, realized, or made known. For many are in this process of dispelling the old known. What was known, I'm hearing the old nouns, the old way of speaking, the old way of thinking, the old now is no longer, I'm hearing it's accessible if we still want to play there, but it's lost its accessibility. So it's harder, interestingly enough, it's harder to be in a place of fear and doubt than it is to just let go right now. However, it doesn't feel that way because the reality that we're glued to, I'm seeing people being like stuck and having to peel themselves out, and it's painful because it's not comfortable, because it's not something, if you're glued to something, you don't move. It's density. It's not flowing, right? It's like I'm seeing a rat trap. It's a kind of a sad description, but that's what it's like. It's like they're stuck. And I'm seeing that we were these rats, kind of like in this experiment, this laboratory, like running around, and we would essentially get into these habit patterns, and we were rewarded for doing these things, and we didn't even realize that we were addicted to it. For example, television, sugar, things we were hearing, stories that would make us feel high and then make us feel low and then make us feel high and make us feel low. That is an addiction. And what I'm being shown is it's harder now to feed into that 3D. It's really uncomfortable. For the network has been destabilized, and we do not feel the same stability that we once felt that we once fed into, that we were once feeding into, for we don't feel fed from it any longer. We don't feel the need to feed on empty calories, so to speak. For our caloric intake is now a deeper holding tank, if you will, a deeper space. And we do not feel the same reward calling to us anymore. For we have lost the desire to feed from a false network. We have lost the desire to feed back into that feedback looping system. And I'm hearing feedback looping system. We have lost the desire, for we have lit the spark from within. And we allow ourselves to see that this is the true light that we have been seeking, so to speak. That's also a play on words, seeking. Like we've seen others as the ruler wearing the crown, but now we're seeing the fire from within, which is opening up our crown, which then connects us up to source, our true source connection, not some peer is what I'm saying. So we're peering through the tears. Ooh, such a play on words. So our peers, I'm hearing our pure peers. So like we're seeing sister, I see you sister. I see you brother. You're not better than me. You're not worse than me. You are just a peer. And we're seeing through, I'm hearing the tears, the pain and the suffering and the fears. We're seeing through that at these false tears that were created. And we're looking at that going, those tears don't even exist. T-I-E-R, layers. That reality doesn't even exist. That person has no more power than I do. And so why am I choosing to continue to give them my attention when they don't hold the same value that I value? They don't hold the same values. They represent an old, and this could be an actor, an actress, it could be a politician, it could be somebody, it doesn't matter. It's like all of a sudden we're eye to eye is what I'm hearing. And we see with eyes to see and ears to hear. We're hearing through the green screen. We hear the sound behind the sound. We are hearing people's intentions. We are seeing through the false dichotomy that was presented. And it's so palpable that we are essentially phasing out of it. And it's phasing out also from our reality. Yet there's some that are turning back around to look at it so that they can watch it fall. But when they do that, they get sucked back into the feedback loop, the playback loop, the rewind, the remember when. And they're not able then to remember the deeper layers because that's such a distraction. It's got such a pull, but it doesn't really have a pull like it once did. And that's really, many of us are feeling that. For we are bending the rules. We are bending and blending all rules. For all old rules have been outruled, have been outrolled. For we are rolling out the new rulership, so to speak. When I say that, it's like, that's out the window too. How the old rulership used to be hearing the vessel of rulership has been outflanked. Like I'm seeing literally they walked the plank. They walked the plank. I'm hearing the plonk. Like, isn't that the golden means? Plonk, rule. They haven't been able, they can't get into that space. So they've come to the end of their plank and now they're jumping ship is what I'm hearing. And we're walking the plonk. We're walking into this higher ratio, the golden era. The golden, I'm hearing the trumpet has sounded, and we are essentially the ones blowing the trumpet, blowing the bubbles, which I talked about in my last video, and I'm going to be talking about that a lot. We are essentially the ones creating the sound in which the new fabric of reality is being created and is now accessible. And we're continuing to do this by, again, dropping into the heart, sinking into the heart. But it's not just the heart. Everything is connected. So when we get into this golden frequency, it's not just, we're connected to our eyes, our ears, our gut, our root, our sacred sacral. We're connected to all of that, and it's working interchangeably, right? We value all pieces of the whole, all parts of the whole of the toroidal spin. It's all connected. And we essentially then play with our true environment as a unified collective of source, God, whatever we want to label it as. It, right? When I write out it, I write out IT. It's funny because I was writing earlier Year of the Clown. We're taking that inverted and we flipped it and reversed it. We flipped it and reversed it into what looks like a Rodin coil or a strange loop, whatever you want to call it. We're on the other side. Yet we're still, it's very difficult to explain what I see when I see it, but it's really cool at the same time, right? So we essentially are creating a new system, a new value system. And I actually wrote about this. I have to write it up. This goes into our social, economic, political world scale as well. Now, as we harness these energies and we step into our own realm of creativity, we then share space with one another, and we reactivate old grid systems that were essentially left inadequately. Play on words. They were essentially created and then never fully completed. So we are not only tuning into these systems, but we are creating from a deeper wellspring of higher fluidity, which also means that our new way of communicating with our brothers and sisters in, I'm hearing galactically, has been accessed, is more easily accessible, has been enhanced. And this also helps us to tune into the deeper recesses of the, I'm hearing emancipation, like immaculate conception, emancipation, and I'm hearing imagination. So we could play with all of these words. So play. Allow your wellspring to spring up from your well-being, from your sense of oneness with all things. Allow yourself to play in the gifts that Mother Nature brings, to play in the field in which she also is contributing to, with, through. When I'm hearing, and we love you. And so it is. Namaste.